Hello, everyone. Thank you for
Hello,
joining
everyone.
us today. I know there's only one of you out there watching us. Anyways, I am going to introduce you to my best friend, Melody. Thank you.
Hi.
She came out here from Utah. And now, what we're going to do, Melody has been a very, very good friend. Long time. We spoke every day, even with me being in Florida and she in California, we've kept in contact.
Yep.
And Melody has a great history. She's a wonderful lady, and you're going to get to know her. She's done a lot of fabulous things in her life. And here we are in our 60s. Who would have ever thought,
I
right?
know, really.
Okay, so Melody is from California, actually raised in Utah, and moved to California to be with her grandma. But first, we want to talk a little bit about you. So tell us what you've done over these fabulous years to get to where you are now.
Well, I went to college into preschool and I graduated, and my grandmother said that to move with her because it's more, oh, it's more, a lot more money that you'll be making, and you can get a job down the street. And I did. So I
Right?
moved
Because
out.
California, really, during like the 80s, you could really move there
Yeah.
and really make a lot more money there than you could
Yeah.
anywhere else. Granted, yes, it was expensive, but you still made a very good living there.
I They said in Utah it would be 3.35 an hour, and and then I was making $5 in California, and that was a lot of money in
Right.
1986. And so I applied, got the job right away, and I started in September,
Exactly.
and I enjoyed it. I loved it. I mean, I've been called the baby whisperer because I love children.
I know who else is known for that, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
let's face it. Yeah.
Yeah,
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 you did. She was great with children.
yeah.
And what did you do after that?
I took care of my grandmother. I left for 3 years back to Utah, and then I asked my cousin, uh, "Does Grandma need my help?" And she says yes. So I moved right away back to California, and I took care of Grandma. Well, I went back to work for a little while,
Mm-hmm.
and one time Grandma was sitting on the wall that was in front of the house, and my neighbor across the street said, uh, "Ruth, that's her name, Ruth. Um, you're still in your pajamas. Are you okay?" And she says, "Yeah, I'm just waiting for Melody to come home." And then she told me that, and I said, "Okay, I'm quitting my job." And then I worked. I mean, I helped Grandma all the time I was there.
Because you realized that there was a certain point where your grandmother really needed you there,
Yeah,
almost like 24/7.
exactly, exactly.
Yes.
And that's what I did. It's like everybody says, "Oh, you should put her in a rest home." I said, "No, I came out here to take care of Grandma, and I'm going to take care of Grandma."
And you did. You
And
for how many
so
years would you say
7
you yeah,
years.
7 years.
She died in 2006,
Mm-hmm.
and I came back in 1999, got the house already because she lapped everything because of her age. And so I had to put a new roof on. I had to put a new bathroom. I had to do all this stuff. I had to get a laundry or a wash and dryer. I
To
had to
make
get
it really very con-
livable.
convenient too
Yeah.
for your grandma,
And air
right?
conditioning. I had to get an air conditioning because she never had it.
Now keep in mind they had swamp coolers in California because there was a time when the weather was very nice and a swamp cooler really really did cool off your home and you as well.
Mhm.
But as climate change, the heat
Weather
really
changed.
got
Hmm.
intense. So therefore, you needed to have an
An
air condition.
AC.
That's
Yeah.
right. And most homes were by then converting into
To,
air
hmm
conditioners.
Yeah. And so what we did before that, we got these little swamp coolers, like you said, and it was still not enough. And so we had to get a big air conditioning on the ceiling or on the roof.
Right.
And so I took care of her. And then, like 3 years before she passed away, she could not talk. She did not talk. She just told me one time, she's like, I don't know what to say. So I was her mouth, I was her eyes, I was everything that she needed. I'd go to the hospital and they wouldn't let me
Well,
in.
God bless you. That's right.
Yeah. And they
That's
wouldn't let
right.
me in. And the paramedic says, You're her voice. You need to go in. And he fought the security guard
Exactly.
to get me in. He said, I'll, like, one of them will be in front,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be in the middle, and the other one will be in the back of the, like right next door to each other, because the security guard was like fighting me to get in.
Right.
And
right.
and they said she has to go. She has to go. And so I went in and I took care of everything, and yeah.
Now tell us a little bit about your grandma, because your grandma worked for, and I
Olga.
remember this. I do. She worked for Olga.
Lingerie factory.
That's right, where they made lingerie for women.
Yeah.
And I remember it was off of was it off of or was it on Satakoy?
It was off of Satakoy, just barely off Satakoy in California.
Right, Satakoy, and was it Haskell?
In that area.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I moved there, I lived just down the street,
Mhm.
and we would go to Olga's because they would let it. Well, it was open to the public where
Yeah.
you can actually go in and
And
buy.
buy stuff.
Yeah.
Buy lingerie. What they did is Olga started, Grandma started. Olga died, or Olga quit, and they quit. She was there for 30 years.
And your grandma, what was she doing?
She was the supervisor,
Yeah,
and
see?
she was a perfectionist. I know a lady that knew her and could not stand her because she was such a perfectionist that she wouldn't let anything go.
Right, right. So she
And
knew all the
Mhm.
operations of like sewing machines and certain
Yep.
fabrics, lace.
When I was a little child, my mom would get a box of her, and I'd get a box of hers, and she would go and uh, like if there's a little hole in an underwear or something, she put a butterfly or a flower on it to hide the, but these were the discount.
Right, they were the little. She
Yeah.
would see an imperfection
Yes.
and would not waste it,
Yep.
but knew how to go ahead and perhaps enhance it.
And it was beautiful. I thought I
Right.
was the queen because I was such a small little girl that I had my own personal stuff.
Yes, you did. Yes,
And
you did.
my mom had her personal stuff. So it was like, yeah, it was fun to
Very
get
nice.
grandma's box of stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your grandmother worked there for many years, didn't
30
she?
years. Yep.
And she had retired from there.
Yep. And she even had a big bowl of like her anniversary bowl
Wow.
and that. Yeah.
See?
She was
So,
she was
hey,
amazing.
absolutely. I know. Listen, if you're probably, what would you say, 60 plus, you might remember who Olga was.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't even know. I haven't seen any of Olga's. Is
There-
it still in production?
There
Yeah.
is, yes. I know a girl that still works, but it's not. It's like it's a different factory. It's not Olga. It's a different factory, but they do honor Olga. The tags and that.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Wow. See, there's a great history here, ladies,
Yep.
on probably your mom's
Mhm.
or your grandma's lingerie.
Yep.
Yes, we had lingerie way back when.
Yep. Exactly.
That is absolutely fascinating.
When I was growing up, I got camisoles, bras, panties, all kinds of stuff.
That's right. I think most of us, because there wasn't that many
Mm-mm.
makers of lingerie back then.
Exactly.
Very good. I think even Jane Russell perhaps even did commercials on Olga
I think
products.
so too. I can remember something like that.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, next time, what we're going to do, we're going to finish this up. We've got places to go and people to see and things to do.
One thing I want to tell you, my
Yes.
grandmother was very, very creative. She did a lot of crafts, a lot of crafts. And it was like she'd do eggs. You know, she'd blow the stuff out of the egg and she'd cut it very gently and she'd put nativity scene or put something in the eggs and then beat it around it and then put something like an angel in the back.
Right,
You
right.
know, other things too she made.
How wonderful. She was very, very not only creative, very
She
crafty,
was,
very meticulous.
and she loved to sew. She did a
Yes.
lot of quilts.
Wow. Well,
Yep.
we want to hear more about your grandma. But right now, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us today. And thank you.
And thank you.
No, thank you.
It was fun.
Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. And we will be back. There's a lot more to know about this young lady. So thank you for joining us today, and we'll catch you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.